Another record day on Wall Street with the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq closing at all-time highs. That sets the order of the day. Hello and welcome to the trade setup right here on BloombergQuint Live. I'm Niraj Shah, and that's really what's driving the interest in the Asian bourses today as well. So one by one, we'll show you what the US markets did and what Asia is doing and what the SGX is doing. Though most of you would have a fair inkling of where this is going in the session today. US markets, fabulous day. I think good news continues to eclipse the bad news, and investors awash with stimulus-infused cash are keen to get their hands on anything that will yield a higher return than government bonds. So it is what I think is driving the interest in the US markets. The risks are being ignored, but hey, that's the nature of the market. That's the nature of the beast currently. The going is good. Asia doing reasonably okay at the start of the trading day. Couple of markets were up over 1% last I checked, and the SGX Nifty indicating a start which is about a third of a percent. So it's going good. I mean, HSI may be soft, but KOSPI is higher. A bunch of other peripheral markets are doing okay, so you don't have too many complaints in the session. Now, remember, yesterday too, the SGX Nifty was indicating a start about a third of a percent. And while the global markets ended up about a couple of percentage points, or Europe went up about a couple of percentage points, we ended up much higher. So right now, we have a flattish start, but the SGX was also indicating a start which was slightly lower too. So I think the start promises to be good. The question is, can we do better than this during the course of the session? Now, frankly, if you look at the trade setup, I think the bank Nifty and the banking stocks are driving the interest higher. And yesterday's session too, it was really banks, which was and the conglomerates, the HDFCs, IDFC, ICICI, etc., all of which went well, which led the market higher in trade yesterday. The other thing is the favorable policies which are coming in from the government side is helping the mid cap and the small cap space quite meaningfully, I think. I mean, yesterday or day before, there was this ban on the import of phosphoric acid. A few days back, there was some finding that phenol is being dumped into India by US and Thailand. So therefore, there could be something around that as well. We've already seen that happening to manufacturing of electronic goods. So I think these policy moves that are happening, but in an emboldened way by the government, is helping the fever around the mid cap and the small cap stocks, and those continue to surge. In yesterday's session too, while the mid caps underperformed the index, in the green but underperformed, the small caps are up 1.7%. So going is really good right now. And I would reckon after yesterday's move, the moves in the specialty chemical space have to be monitored today. Splendid moves yesterday by almost everything across the board in specialty chemicals, and you would want to watch out for those stocks too. Keep in mind, there's this chart on the index which shows the Nifty. If it breaks this point of resistance, as you can see, there is strong overhead resistance for the Nifty. But if it breaks this resistance that you see on the yellow dotted line, slightly between 11,000 and 12,000 levels, then the channel is higher. And that is what is the key thing, that we are looking at levels of 11,400 to 500. If the index manages to break this on a technical basis, it opens up a new channel, which is great from a market perspective. So let's wait and watch if this happens or not. What does all of this therefore mean for trades and for stock specific moves? I think multiple stocks which could be in focus today. So Allcargo Global Logistics, the board is going to consider the delisting of shares on August 27. Promoters hold about 70% stake, public shareholders 29.99. I think the final offer price from what the promoters have said will be determined through the reverse book building process as per SEBI guidelines. But viewers, remember, we've seen what's happened to delisting candidates. Hexaware, when the delisting was announced, was 325. It's at 425. I'm not saying the same will happen, by the way, but I'm just saying Vedanta was at 89.90. The stock is at 130. Promoters who are very keen to delist the stock, typically the stock prices tend to move higher. They fail to at times if the promoters disagree on the price given by the minority shareholders. But purely from a trading perspective, this could be a stock that you should all monitor. Max Life. Axis Bank has now proposed to acquire, instead of 29% stake, 17% stake of Max Life, resulting in a total ownership of 18% post the transaction. The earlier proposal for the bank was, as I said, about 29%. Now, Should any of you or all of you be worried about this? Well, I guess not. And instead of me quoting why, I'll pull up this piece from MK. MK Shares and Stockbrokers have given out the report today on this change, but on what they believe is now the way ahead, because they are saying that with Axis Bank acquiring a lower than expected ownership, minority shareholders, according to them, of Max Financial will remain as an advantage, as the major stake of the pure life insurance business stays with the minority shareholders. They actually think of this as a positive development, and they believe it should lift the overhang on the stock, leading to a potential re-rating, which is that Axis Bank moves closer to this deal completion, because this deal now, this reduction of stake has been done in consultation with the regulator, and therefore any hurdles to the deal would be lower. And therefore, they believe that this is positive for Max Life. So, could be an interesting stock to monitor in trade today. What else? GMR board meet on August 27 to consider raising of funds of about 5,000 crores in one or more tranches. The stock is in focus. I think airport players are in focus after Adani looking set to buy the Mumbai airport deal. So airports becomes a large sector now in its own right, and therefore that business gets its own valuation. Watch out for GMR. Phoenix Mills promoters are looking to sell. I think they've opened the block and probably closed it as well. 5.8 to 7.3% stake. This is today. I mean, I gave this yet. I mean, I mentioned tomorrow, but it's today, so it's my mistake. But essentially happening today. The book was launched last night, I think, with a floor price of 665. Successful completion of this book after the QIP, another large block coming in might be interesting. Now, whether the street takes this negatively as to why is it that promoters are selling a stake after the QIP, let's wait and watch if the street takes that negatively. But if it's very successfully subscribed to, then you never know, could be a good one. I will watch out for the IPA manufacturers, Deepak Nitrite and Deepak Fertilizers. Not that they went up yesterday because of just the IPA manufacturing tailwinds, but both the stocks were active, and therefore I'll watch out. These are the only two IPA manufacturers in the country, and with hand sanitizers doing so well, maybe these stocks have something to watch out for. By the way, so two or three other stocks. I haven't quite given graphics here, but just hear me out. Goldman Sachs has upgraded SBI to a buy from neutral. The target price has been raised to 282 from 183. Therefore, this stock could be in focus today. Banks are anyways in focus, so watch out for State Bank of India. Watch out for LIC Housing Finance. The stock had ended flat ahead of the numbers, and the numbers delivery is actually pretty good. NII is at 1,240 crores. The expectations was 1,111 crores. Net profit is up substantially, 817 crores versus estimates of 505 crores. So LIC Housing Finance could have a big reaction. And Global Spirits, the net profit numbers were exceptional. The margin performance was exceptional. So therefore, Global Spirit could react positively too. So aside of all the stocks that I've spoken about, SBI, LIC Housing Finance, and Global Spirits are ones that you should monitor. Last, what stood out for me is that exceptional strength in the rupee yesterday. The rupee ended, viewers, at 74.32 against the dollar. It was at 74.85. So quite an exceptional move by the currency. The trajectory has been pretty good too, from all the talk of dollar strength and rupee weakness. I think the reverse is happening, though the dollar is losing against a fair degree of other currencies too. But just the move yesterday, went from 74.85 to 74.32, is a really sharp burst of strength for the currency. And everybody should watch out for this as well. It also has some investing implications in theory, if not in practice, in sentiment, if not in practice, and therefore should be monitored. Anyways, lots of stocks to track today. So I wish you all the best. Have a profitable day ahead. Watch out for mid caps and small.